Welcome to the Challenge Life podcast presented by Heroes for Happiness. I'm Canon.
I'm Boyd.
Let's get it started. So, with the NFL playoffs coming around, happening now, we thought we'd take the opportunity to talk about football, what it's done for our lives.
Football's done a lot.
Yeah.
You want me to start?
Yeah, go ahead.
Football has taught me a lot, including, starting off, it's taught me to work hard, to be on time, and it's taught me a lot about myself, actually, how I can push myself. Because going through my knee injury, and I had a back injury at the same... at the beginning of the season, I had a back injury, and I had herniated discs in my back, and they told me I was never going to play another down of football again, and I knew that I had to work hard to get back to that, and I had to strengthen my back, and then I had to get a back injection, and then after that was all done, I got hit, tore my ACL, sadly.
Yeah.
And had to work through that and just play through the pain because it was fully torn. It was either that or quit, and I wasn't gonna quit. So
you came that far.
Yeah, I was like, I just got back from a back injury. I'm not gonna just quit with some knee injury, but doctors say I'll need a new knee by 40 to 50. But
yeah, that's what they told me too.
But yeah, it's taught me a lot.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I couldn't imagine where I'd be if I didn't play football, right? Like, I started in 6th grade, and I didn't even play, really. I wasn't good.
Yeah.
I was a softie. And then by, 7th grade, I played a little bit. 8th grade, played a lot. That's when I started to, develop a love for it.
Mm-hmm.
Then I hit high school, and it was like a whole nother ball game, right? And then, through high school, I thought I was doing really well, and then my junior year was like my year. I was the strongest I'd ever been. I was in the best shape I'd ever been. And then I started to develop, I had an ankle injury, and then I started to develop knee pain, which I later found out was tendonitis.
Yeah.
And then for that tendonitis, doctors gave me this medicine and ended up giving me ulcers. And then after I kind of got that figured out, I was still having really bad knee pain. And so my junior and senior season were kind of not what I had expected growing up.
Yep.
But I figured out, even after the season, I had my gallbladder was acting up. So anyway, that whole time was so hard medically and mentally. But football, even though it was painful to do, it was still a way to kind of escape. Right?
And just enjoy life.
Yeah.
It just take it all out.
Yeah, like I'm with my friends. You go to practice every day. You get to play games, and it was hard. There were some games I couldn't even finish because my knees hurt so bad. And I just still deal with that pain today. Even it's been over 2 years.
Yeah.
But it's gotten better. But I just think about the lessons I learned and the friends I made will far outweigh all the injuries.
Oh yeah, completely.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing. I also hurt my ankles. My junior season, I sprained my left one, a low ankle sprain. Got back, started practicing, and then that same day that I got back, sprained my other ankle, high ankle sprain.
Yeah.
And I thought I was done, but ended up going to the championship game and playing in it. But yeah, it's taught me a lot of things that I wouldn't change.
Yeah. And I don't know, if there's programs all around the country like ours, the coaches we have, the culture we've developed.
Yep.
It's because my first 2 years of high school football, we had a different coach, and he was good, and we were okay, but there wasn't that culture of discipline, right? But then we got a new coach after my sophomore year, and it was like we did a 180.
Yeah.
And then shortly after I graduated, you guys won a state championship.
Yep.
Right. And so I think it just goes to show how good this can be, not only for a football team, but for young men in that team.
It kind of just creates a brotherhood.
Yeah.
I noticed when our new coach came in, he changed our football program completely.
Yeah.
We became more of a brotherhood.
Yeah.
Rather than, he's a starter. Yeah.
It wasn't like seniors picking on freshmen.
Yeah.
It was Like, hey, if you're older, you're here to teach the young guys. If you're younger, you're here to learn.
Yep.
I mean, and the responsibilities you have, the expectations you have. I mean, like normal young people don't have that.
No.
Right? They don't have much expected of them. And a lot of them even come from households where, maybe both parents are working. They don't, have to do much.
Yep.
Maybe they have a little bit of homework here and there. And so football is so beneficial mentally for kids.
Yeah.
I mean, physically, yeah, it's a way to stay in shape. It's a fun game to play. But mentally, I mean, you have coaches that expect things from you. You have teammates that look up to you and expect things from you. And it's just a good experience all around.
Yeah. I will say that sometimes, though, it can be mentally difficult.
Oh, yeah.
Like trying to learn the plays, and it's hard. But in the end, it's all worth it.
Yeah. I mean, there's such a sense of accomplishment. I mean, even when I played, I never, won anything. I mean, we won our district once or twice.
Yeah.
But, like, it was just like when I finished the season and I looked about, where I was physically and where I was, as a man. Like, there was such a difference from if I thought about, okay, if I never played football, if I never had these expectations, if I never went through those things, where would I be?
Yeah, if I didn't do football, because freshman year, after I got done playing, I honestly thought about quitting.
Yeah.
But the coaches kept talking to me, and they're like, hey, you need to play. And then look at what happened. I started, I won a championship, and I gained best friends.
Yeah.
Just like you.
Yeah.
I played with you.
Yeah.
But
I mean, I could never, like, almost all my friends come from who I played with on my football team. Right? Like, and then even I came back, I took a year off as a volunteer missionary, and I came back and I started coaching football because you don't get that feeling anywhere else, really. I mean, there's very few places where you just have a bunch of guys, working toward a common goal. Well, that's for most sports, most team sports. I mean, there's a lot of individual sports are good, and I feel like they do teach you, self-accountability and things. But there's such a dynamic that team sports have.
You just have to work with each other, trust each other, because when you're on the line, you have to know that the guy next to you is going to do his job.
Yeah, there's got to be trust.
Yeah, there's a ton of trust in team sports. But like you said, you came back to coach, and I think that's what I'm going to do next year. Yeah. Because I miss it right now, honestly. And it's only been 2 months, if that. Yeah. And
you just don't get it.
No.
I mean, that feeling, it's not even like, I don't know. It's not always, exciting, like big plays, all that. Well, just being there.
Yeah.
Like even practices, some of them are long, sometimes it's hot, sometimes really cold. But just being a part of that team, you're like, hey, I have somewhere to be. I belong somewhere.
Like the weight room. The weight room was a big thing for me. I loved being in the weight room because I knew that I could set goals. That's another thing that football taught me was setting goals. Because if you don't set goals, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah.
Because my goal was to bench 300 pounds by the end of last year, technically. Yeah. But since I got hurt, I never really got to that. But I got to 280, which is a lot better than what I thought I was going to get. Like in my head, I probably knew I wasn't going to get 300 pounds. But
you have something to look forward to.
Yeah, but since I set that goal at 300, there was something to shoot for.
Yeah. And I think, for kids that don't have anything to do with their time, I mean, like, I play video games, I have social media.
Yep.
But, like, to get out in the real world, to have teammates, to, physically work yourself, to compete in a game against other kids, with your teammates, like, you don't find that playing Call of Duty.
No, you don't.
I mean, don't get me wrong. I play Call of Duty. I play Minecraft.
It's really fun.
I play video games.
Yep.
But there's just such a different aspect.
Culture.
Yeah. I mean, like being in, gaming or things like that. I mean, it's great, but it can't replace physical sports.
No, it can't. You have that physical, just. Yeah. I don't know how to explain it. Just.
Yeah. But it's like, maybe you win a super tough match of Call of Duty. You might be hyped, but that kind of wears off.
Yeah, it does after one game.
But like if you're like in the weight room and you are, grinding and you hit that PR, hey, today I benched 280 pounds.
Yeah.
That's insane. That's a feeling that kind of doesn't go away.
Yeah.
but it physically shows. Like, somebody can look at you like, dang, that's a strong guy.
Uh-huh.
I mean, somebody can't just look at you and be like, oh, I bet he's really good at Call of Duty. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So, like I said, we're not trying to discredit gamers.
Yeah.
Because we both game.
Yep.
That's a fact.
We love games.
Yeah.
I think I play a little bit more than him,
Oh,
but...
Well, I have a wife.
Oh, yeah, that
No
too.
offense.
I'm in high school, so...
But, I don't know, man. Like, you take everything I learned in football, you know, discipline, goal setting, being on time, being responsible, you know, having expectations for myself and my coaches having expectations. You don't find that in normal life.
No.
Especially nowadays when everybody's so separate.
Mm-hmm.
Right? You think, you know, with the internet, with social media, it brings everybody together, but everybody's still
Everybody's
separate.
separate, and everyone's in a hurry nowadays.
Yeah.
Like,
But, like, you know, when you take a couple hours every evening or even in the morning, you go work out in the evening, you take a few hours, you're with your friends, with your brothers.
Yep.
You put some work in, and then you get to go play games.
You got to show what you worked for.
Yeah.
That's what I love about football and the football games, because you get to show what you worked for. Like, you hit that 280-pound bench. That's going to show on the football field.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. And it's like you pull out what you put in.
Uh-huh.
Right? Like, I remember in high school, one of my friends used to always say, you know, football's the best girlfriend. Because every dime you put into it, every amount of time you put into it, it gives it back to you.
That's very true.
Yeah, whether it's like self-accomplishment, team accomplishment, I mean, hitting new PRs in the weight room, things like that. I mean, you get out every ounce you put in. You know, even, you know, people get injured in football all the time.
Yep.
But, like, most everybody would tell you it was worth it. I feel.
Yeah, I feel like everyone who played high school football would say that.
Yeah.
If they had the right coaches.
Yeah.
But...
Yeah, not everybody had this experience that we had.
Yeah.
And there were some times even where I was like, I did not agree with coaches. I did not agree with teammates. Like, some days are hard.
Oh, yeah.
But that's one of the things that team sports teaches you is, I got to put myself on the back burner.
Yeah.
I mean, team first.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if I'm like, oh, I want this, I want that, but the team doesn't want that.
Yeah.
At some point, you just kind of got to suck it up.
Yep, that's how it was for me. Like, I just wanted to play offense, but I mean, I didn't play a ton of defense, but they said you're gonna have to step up on defense this year, and I'm just like, okay,
yeah,
sounds good.
Even if you don't want to, you're like, whatever the guys need, you know.
But luckily, I didn't have to end up playing a whole ton of defense.
Yeah.
But
it was like my whole career, I'd played guard on the offensive line, and I loved it.
Yep,
loved guard with everything I had, but the new coach's offense, there was a lot of pulling involved, and I wasn't the best puller. Okay, you put me across from a guy, like, I can go hit him, but you asked me to pull around, I was a little slow.
Yeah.
And so they're like, hey, we'll move you to tackle, and I hated it.
Yeah.
Right, like, I was not a tackle. This, like, it sounds selfish me saying it right now, but
yeah.
But I wasn't super quick. I wasn't, you know, my hands weren't great.
You weren't the ideal tackle.
Yeah. You know, I'm short. Really, I mean, I'm only 5'11". That's pretty short for a tackle. I had bad knees.
Yeah.
Right, and so, but I did it because that's what they asked me to do. And I think in life that goes so far. When somebody asks you something, you're like, oh, I don't really want to do that, but let's go do it.
Yep. Football teaches you how to do hard stuff in life, even if you don't want to.
Yeah. And I don't know how many people are going to hear this, but if you're a parent or you have influence on a young person, I would urge them to play a sport.
Yep.
Especially a team sport.
Team sports.
Yeah. And, you know, make sure they have good coaches, make sure their teammates are good, you know, but there's things you get there that you don't find anywhere else, no matter how good you are at Fortnite.
Yep.
You know what I mean? So, our advice, anybody that's watching this, whether you're a kid or an adult, push for sports.
Yep.
It's so important. And this last year, when everything was shut down and, you know, sports were basically stopped almost everywhere. We were lucky enough to live in a state that allowed sports. You know, there were some restrictions.
Towards the end, they started cutting down a lot, but it was still all worth it.
But yeah, it was such a blessing. I remember I see on Instagram how many states were playing when we were. There wasn't that many.
There was like 7.
Yeah, and everybody kind of picked up into November and December, but I mean,
we were lucky.
Yeah, but that's our message today.
Yep.
I mean, football fundamentally changed my life. I'm sure it did the same for you.
Oh, yes, it did.
and I wouldn't go back and change it.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Even, like if I did go back, I'd even put more time into it.
Mm-hmm. So I guess the main message here is, don't live life with regrets.
Yeah.
Like
if you want something, go out and do it.
Uh-huh.
And especially but what makes you into who you are is when you don't like it and you still go out and do it.
Yeah.
Like me, you know, there are some things in football I didn't like and I still did them.
Uh-huh.
And then later on, like especially as my time as a volunteer missionary, there's a lot of things I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm so tired.
Yeah.
I do not want to do this. But you just go out and do it.
Mm-hmm.
And you do it the best you can. Because you know there's people relying on you. There's people counting on you. And I get home and I get married and I have a wife and she has expectations.
Mm-hmm.
I'm in college. The school has expectations. Yeah. And you got to be able to rise to the challenge and meet it. So that's our sermon today on American football. And it was a blessing, you know, playing as a team, you know, having people rely on you, learning to set goals. That's a big message we have here at Heroes for Happiness Challenge Live.
Yep, is setting goals.
Setting goals and then going out and accomplishing them.
Because if you don't have goals to set, you're not going to go anywhere.
Yeah. And even if you fail, like the effort is there, and that's what counts. Right? Like if I say, hey, I want to lose 30 pounds by June, maybe I only lose 22 by the time I get to June.
It's still...
But then you look back like, oh, I'm a failure. No, you look back, hey, look at where I started. Look where I am.
Yeah, and you learned.
Yeah. So yeah, you know, look out for us. We're going to be all over the internet. We're trying to take it over.
Yep.
I mean, we're trying to just spread light and happiness in these dark times. You know, we're on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube.
Yep.
We have a website up now, heroesforhappiness.com. Check us out. You know, like, comment, subscribe on everything we put out. Help us bring you the content that can motivate you, can help you, and help us too.
Yeah, and share it to other people if you feel like it'd be good for them. But
yeah. So we're issuing a challenge. I put it on social media, on Instagram and Facebook. You guys can check it out. The challenge was to post your goals on social media. You know, usually on everybody's socials, they have their friends and family on there.
Yep.
And it makes you accountable, right? Like you want to exercise, you want to read more, you want to cook more. Put it out there for everybody to see.
So then they can hold you accountable for it.
Yeah. And nobody's, like, if people think you're annoying, they probably shouldn't be your friend anyway.
Yep.
Right. You can look on Heroes for Happiness. I've put my goal on there, also on my personal profile. So go check out that social media challenge. Post your goals. Use the hashtag #BecomeYourHero. And let's make the world a brighter place.
See you later.